Hello, thanks for spending some of your downtime with me. I appreciate it. Make it so the top of my head isn't cut off. There we go. And as promised in WarHammer Opinion 008, here in WarHammer Opinion 009, I'm going to talk about another game besides WarHammer, as my nephew calls it, also called Fantasy Battles. So that was the topic of that video. If you want to watch what I have to say about that game, you can look at that video. In this one, I'm going to be talking more about 40K, and especially like the older stuff, 3rd edition stuff. This is the Read Me First from it, which was able to get used, and we're going to react this, or we're going to act out this battle, but we're also going to expand it and involve other stuff. So these are probably pretty close to 3rd edition Tyranids, and they're a little bit different because they have a little less detail. They don't have like these bony structures sticking out the back, and that's what I've noticed so far. And these came primed, and the weapons are painted more metallic, kind of a silver a little bit, not that much, but I'm going to change those to be more organic, because as it says in this 3rd edition book from Laz Cannon Larry, he left his name on it, I got it used. These weapons are more organic than that, so I'm going to have them blend in with the creature more, rather than being more metallic. And the same thing with the spore mines that I got. Same thing. I'm going to have those be a little bit more organic than metallic. So this is 10 more Tyranids, Termagants, and I'm going to add them to my army. And I love that, the fact that they're old, because they're a little bit different from the modern ones. So that adds a little variety to it. These seem to be a little bigger too as I look at them. A little bigger than the newer ones, which is unusual, right? The Gene Stealers that it came with, 8 of them, and I believe there was 10 in the set, so I'm probably missing 2 of them. But again, I can add some more modern ones to it. The Gene Stealers, again, their claws are kind of metallic, and I'm going to make them more organic. The color scheme for the Tyranids and the Gene Stealers, as you can see on the cover, was kind of more of a red, and a blue-black kind of. And I like it, but I'm going to have it be a little bit more natural colored, a little bit more green, the flesh, and kind of like a human flesh with a tint of green to it. And then I want to have the shells on them being kind of a cockroach brown. So I like to paint every one a little bit different shade of color. So this video could have also been called SpeedPaint 2.0 Opinion, as well as WarHammer Opinion, because I'm going to be talking a lot about that. So I got from the complete set these colors of SpeedPaint. So the first one is Charming Chartreuse. I'm real excited about these colors. And then we have Malignant Green. Now this is an old favorite of mine that was in the Mega set. Just a really, really great color. Kind of looks like a puke green. And then there is Chili Dew, new color. And if you're not familiar with speed paints, they're like contrast paints. And then there's Ghoul Green, which has a little bit of blue to it. And Shamrock Green, a real pure green color. And Orc Green. And then in the colors that I would call kind of like a green shade, Maggot Skin is the lightest one. And then Rigor Mortis. I'm sorry, that's the darkest one of these. So I think I have that a little out of place. Okay, then in the ones that are a shade of green, Rigor Mortis is the light one. LJ Green. Forest Sprite. I want to definitely make some sprites, and I'm kind of going to have them be kind of a cross between a dragon and a dragonfly, like they are in World of Warcraft more. They don't actually call them sprites, though. There's something else in WarHammer and Warcraft that I'm going to kind of model. We have Cameo Cloak, Camel Cloak, camouflage. We have Absolution Green, which was in the Mega set, great color. And so I'm going to paint with SpeedPaint these guys a little bit differently. I'm not sure exactly what color I'm going to go with on the Gene Stealers. Maybe I'll make them a little bit more human, kind of do more of a flesh tone kind of brown rather than a greenish flesh tone, cockroach brown. Maybe go a little bit different. Maybe I'll even go on their shells, because I see that the Gene Stealers do have a shell. Maybe I'll go with kind of a different color. Maybe even kind of a ruddy brown, kind of a reddish brown more. Not sure yet. Or maybe like a yellow or something like that. Might be cool for their shells, to make them a little bit different from the Tyranids. So the story behind the Gene Stealers is that they have some Tyranid DNA and they've infected humans, and they're kind of like a cross between them, as I understand it. So correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So I really like this wet palette. It's my favorite because it's got a dry palette for SpeedPaint at the top. That playing card is used to smooth the wet palette surface. But it's got, as you can see, heavily used SpeedPaint dry palette at the top. I just love it. I also love it for regular non-contrast or speed paints, mixed 50-50 with distilled water. It also works good for that when you don't want to use the wet palette on the bottom. So also very nice. The nice thing about that is when you get a certain consistency, it's not going to be constantly thinning like it is on the wet palette. So there's the Gene Stealers. I got another 8 of these spore mines. And they're made of plastic. They're not made of metal like my other ones. And maybe that's how they were when they came with the original set. I'm not sure if they were metal or not. I think in some of these old sets, some of the things were metal and some weren't. At least it was like that for fantasy battles. I also got these Tyranid structures, 3 of them, and this more major node. Again, that claw is metallic. I'm going to make it more organic, right? So the way that I'm going to speed paint these to add to my act that we're going to play out is I am going to take how they're primed already, and I'm not going to reprime them, but I'm going to dry brush this Citadel paint, Morghast Flesh, and I like Citadel paints for dry brushing because they're so thick. That's a really nice thing about them. My absolute favorite Citadel paint is Death Road Forest. I just absolutely love it. That's one of the few paints that I've actually had to buy more of it because I ran out. And I'm actually close to running out of the second bottle now too, or the second pot, I should say. It's actually in a bottle, a squirt bottle, because the pot failed, right? That's a problem with these Citadel paints. There's some more Citadel paints over here. Now, Desktop Minions, shout out to him, said that he uses a lot of brown, and I've been soul searching on that, and I actually use a lot of green. And biologically that makes sense because the human eye sees more shades of green than any other color, which evolutionarily we say that it's because we came from creatures that lived in the forest, and that's why we needed to see more shades of green. It's also, it may be just physical, it's right in the middle of the visible spectrum too. So it may have more to do with that than evolution, I don't know. But I really like green, and a lot of my stuff is kind of like a shade of green, I've found. So I definitely wanted to expand green. These are some green paints that I'm using with my granddaughter. Cheap paints on Amazon, 20 bucks or whatever for 48 paints. Can't get cheaper than that. But it also, I'll use a little bit of it too. It'll give me just a little extra color variety. And then it really shows up having a slightly different color after I spray them with Iridescent, the shifter paint from Viejo. Those different colors really pop and come out at you, so I really like them. So that's pretty much what I'm working on now. And of course, after my wife and I play the game with the expanded rules, or with the simplified rule set that I've created, I'll definitely make another video and show what the result of that was. Thank you very much for your time. And Downtime Production signing off. Thank you all.